Well, it was about time the Bears finally get another W. But so, anyways, the Bears defeat the Detroit Lions 24-14. Honestly, I'm shocked we defeated the Lions because I thought we were gonna lose the game near the tail end of this game, and everything was gonna go from bad to worse. Well, the flow of the game was okay, great, 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 and then bad. Okay, maybe we're letting the Lions get in, and then it got to terrible. Justin Fields fumbling the ball. They managed to recover, but then you had the part in the game where the Lions literally drive down the field, and because of one drop, essentially it seals the deal for the Lions. And really, technically, having the offsides neutral zone infraction on the punt is also another ring thing that done the Lions. Listen, the Bears won the game. Like any sports fan, I'll take the W. But also, when I take the W, when it comes to my sports teams, I want to see, is the team improving? Is the team moving in the right direction? And honestly, even as an honest Bears fan, can you ask yourself, did this team move in the right direction today, ladies and gentlemen? Did this team move in the right direction? Because I don't believe they did. We know the theme with the Chicago Bears under Matt Nagy. They can beat the bad teams, but make it closer than what it should be. And when they play the really good teams, they get blown out. Anyways, this is Cam315, back with another Chicago Bears game recap. My co-host on the channel, Matt Swarmstead, isn't with us for today's video because he had to go to the hospital, and when he went back, he didn't feel too good. So obviously, best well wishes to his health, and hopefully he can get better. Yes, he'll be joining us hopefully next week if there's no Patriots game in his way to essentially hamper this whole thing or the whole game recap. But he would have been here if he could have made it. So I'm gonna be the one giving the analysis, the thoughts, and stuff like that. So we're talking about how Justin Fields did, how the offense looked under Bill Lazor, because clearly Bill Lazor was calling the play calls. It wasn't Matt Nagy. And then we can talk about the defense. And hold on a quick second before we talk about the defense. Okay, back from that thing I had to attend to real quick. But yes, the Bears won. We'll talk about the Justin Fields, how I thought he did today, how I thought the offense did under Bill Lazor compared to Matt Nagy. And then we'll talk about the defense that I thought was probably not the best thing today. And honestly, why we need to raise a cause of concern for the defense, because the next 5 teams they play after this game was the Raiders, the Packers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the 49ers. Oh, the 49ers and the Steelers. So yeah, it's definitely not looking like a favorable schedule. But yes. Actually, let me say this, and let me talk really good about something that I definitely did enjoy watching the broadcast. Was the fact that hearing Gus Johnson call a Bears game. Now, I'm guessing Gus Johnson is back to calling NFL games again like he used to. Listen, I don't care. Can we do whatever it takes for Gus Johnson to call every Bears game on Fox for the rest of the season? Because I love Gus Johnson calling Bears games. I definitely could get used to this. Now, I did not like Aqib Talib's performance as a commentator. I think this was like the first time I heard Aqib Talib's, broadcasting skills in the booth. Honestly, legit, I did not like it. Like, it's not his voice, but it's like I feel like he's not saying as much as other color commentators would say. I'm not saying he doesn't know the game, but there's like moments in the game during the broadcast there would be like a clear-cut pause, and it's like, okay, shouldn't the color commentator be saying something? Like, especially when they're doing the lineups, he gave like pauses, just only noting out the defensive players I'm guessing he knows the most about, and it's like, dude. So yeah, listen, I didn't think Aqib Talib's color commentating stuff was good. I don't know what the general public is. I thought it was honest to God terrible. Other than when he was really breaking down the plays in the game, when he would show it on his like a key, camera or something like that. Other than that, I didn't think he did a good job, but I did love Gus Johnson. I thought Gus Johnson was fantastic. Like, honestly, at this point, I think Gus Johnson is just one of the best commentators, if not the best, if not the best, head commentator in just football in general because of the enthusiasm he freaking gives. You see it on college football, and even in the NFL, it's even crazy. Like, you saw what he did, how he called that one part in the game for the and for the return touchdown after the kickoff last week for the Cardinals Jaguars game. You saw stuff like that. Honestly, the reason why I like him the most is because, again, it's a legit. He Gus Johnson comes across like a fan that is calling the game of football, and I just love the enthusiasm he calls. And honestly, if I was a commentator, I'd be calling him like that. I just love the enthusiasticness and the charisma he has. Like, it's stuff like okay, I love listening to this guy because he knows the game of football really well, and he just makes everything sound so damn entertaining. Like, I could watch this guy commentate everything. I think, honestly, if he can commentate more games, that would be great for the Bears. I definitely would like that. So another thing I liked was Justin Fields. Justin Fields, his stat line was 10 of 16 for 202 yards and one pick, although that pick was a tipped pass interception that when I came across social media, I'm just going to say this. If you're going to blame Justin Fields for the pick, listen, that happens to everyone. Every quarterback in the league eventually gets a tip pass for an interception, and there's nothing you can do about it. My co-host was actually tweeting at me saying that I would have blamed Dalton tenfold and said that pick's on Dalton. No, I would. If Dalton was in the game, I would have said the same thing I'm saying for Fields. It was a tip pass. There's nothing you can do about it and stuff like that. Now, there might be a few people, more than the Justin Fields haters and more than the people that aren't as high on Justin Fields, saying Justin Fields needs to throw the ball better, needs to throw the ball faster and stuff like that. So that tip pass doesn't happen. But it's like, again, what can you do? A tip pass is a tip pass. For an interception, there's nothing you can do. But I liked everything I saw to Justin Fields other than the holding onto the ball for far too long. Just some of the passes he made in this game were beautiful throws. Like the throws to Mooney were really good. Really good. Other than, I guess, the one to start off the game where he's kind of off target a bit, but Mooney made a great catch right then and there. Just freaking wonderful. Justin Fields was throwing the ball with some conviction, and he was throwing the ball down the field, and they were some nicely thrown balls. Like, I loved the one pass, the two passes. Two of my favorite passes I had was when he fit it to the corner of the field to Allen Robinson off the play action, and then he threw a nicely high enough ball where Mooney, it's a catch that Mooney had to adjust to the throw, and Mooney made a great catch right there. Two of probably the best throws of the day. And you can definitely see, with Justin Fields, the Bears can go places and they can go very far because this kid, he has that stuff. He is that good. And stuff like that. And I definitely did enjoy his performance today. Now, like, we have to speak about the positives, Justin Fields. I will have to speak about the negatives as much as I like Justin Fields and the fact that he needs to play. I know one of the reasons why he definitely needs to play is you can definitely see in this game, there were too many times that he held onto the ball too long. Now, I don't know if he's trying to look for the deep shot or something like that, but there was several occasions where he just held the ball on for far too long and resulted in it becoming an incomplete pass or almost him getting sacked. So that's something that honestly is something that can be cleaned up fairly easy from the standpoint, okay, you're just gonna have to teach this kid, he's got to get a quicker release in terms of something he sees. Like, one of the play action passes he had was a typical play action pass they used to run for Mitch, where they would have the tight end just running around in the flats. And we see that Justin Fields clearly had him, but Justin Fields wasn't trying to throw it. It's like he was trying to look for the deep, but it's like, no, you should always look short, then you should always look deep, and if there's nothing deep, you look quickly to the short route you got. and then you throw it there. And Justin Fields could have easily gave Komet, a ball that was definitely freaking, quicker, and stuff like that. But listen, that he can improve that as the more he plays. I think the more he plays, the more accustomed he'll get used to the game speed, and he'll be like, okay, I got to get this ball out quicker and stuff like that. Especially with the standpoint that he knows that he doesn't have the best of offensive lines. He's gonna have to realize he's gonna have to get that ball out faster, as the weeks progress and stuff like that. So I was very much impressed. Speaking about the offense as a whole, David Montgomery, he came out with a knee injury. Hopefully, it's not a torn ACL, because it looked like he was in some vast pain, and it looked like he had a torn ACL. And yes, even though he was walking on that knee, just because you have a torn ACL, just because you can walk on both legs, doesn't mean you can have a torn ACL at the end of the day. You can still have a torn ACL and walk on it. Trust me, I had a torn ACL, and I could literally, and I could honestly to God walk on it before. But he had a great day. He had 22 carries, 101 rushing yards, and 2 TDs. Darnell Mooney had 125 receiving yards. Just great stuff. Allen Robinson was a lot more involved in this offense, which is great to see. Tight ends still weren't involved as much. Yeah, Komet had a catch, but again, it's like this offense is supposed to be tailored around tight end play. Well, why are we not using our tight ends? We're not using Jimmy Graham at all. We're not using Cole Kmet at all. And it's like, we really wasted money on Jimmy Graham. And then you can say, and at the time I advocated for the Bears to draft Cole Kmet. It's starting to look like I might have been wrong on that, and we probably should have just taken an offensive lineman, because Cole Kmet is not doing anything, and it's looking like Cole Kmet's not going to be a player we all thought he would have came in to be a productive player. But yeah, and then even Damian Williams, the backup, he had a nice game. He had like 50 rush yards. But then again, like I said, the Lions' rush defense isn't the best. So that's the thing. But the offense is going in the grand scheme of the offense. The scheme of the offense looked, and when I mean 10 times better than I have seen it before, I kid you not. It was like a breath of fresh air. Everything the Bears failed to do in the Cleveland Browns game, they did in this game. You want to play action pass? Well, you got it here. You wanted the Bears to throw the ball down the field with Fields? You got it here. Using 12 personnel, different formations that actually can be very productive. Good. This offense today looked like it was an offense in the 21st century. Not some weird crap run offense where it inhibits the players' abilities to do anything to their strengths. And if not, it's a stupid scheme that gets your damn players hurt or killed. After seeing the scheme run by Bill Lazor, I know it's against the Lions, but listen, Bill Lazor knows the strengths and weaknesses of this team. He knows the strengths, and he calls the schemes according to this. He called. My goodness, I don't want to knock down my freaking microphone, but he calls the scheme an adjustment to his players' best abilities, his best strengths. You clearly saw it. This is like the first time I've seen Darnell Mooney be able to catch deep passes, like 2-3 plus deep passes in one game. Using the players' best abilities to their, using the strengths to their best abilities. Like, for once, we saw the speed be utilized in this game. And it's like you look at over at Matt Nagy's scheme and what he calls, and you're like, dude, what are you doing? Your own offensive coordinator can call a better damn game than you. How ashamed do you have to feel? So I learned one. Now we learned that we learned that the Bears had some sort of secret offensive meeting with all the offensive players, and things were said. I'm guessing things were said to Matt Nagy where all the players and all the coaches, offensive coaches, were telling Matt Nagy, your scheme sucks. You cannot run this scheme. And Matt Nagy, sadly but surely, had to tone his ego down a bit and accept it and deal with it. Now, we don't know if Matt Nagy's going to start calling play calls again, because we know when because we know Matt Nagy is going to hear all the radio and the praise Of the standpoint that, oh, guess what? Bill Lazor was the one calling the plays. Matt Nagy's going to hear that and hear the praise that they're giving Bill Lazor. And he's going to have to, and his ego's going to get at him saying, you can't freaking let these guys freaking talk so highly of your co-worker and stuff like that. You're the head coach. You need to get the credit. I want to be shocked next week against the Raiders. He takes back the reins of the play calling because he can't keep his ego in check. Listen, if I'm Ryan Pace, any sensible Bears management, what you do is you march down to House Hall, you march into Coach Nagy's office and tell him this. Under no circumstances anymore are you allowed to play call again in your tenure as Chicago Bears head coach. Because we know there's a guy in your staff that can do it a hell of a lot better than you can. So that's going to be the thing. We'll see if Matt Nagy can tone his ego down a bit to the point where are we going to wonder, is he going to just let freaking Bill Lazor call plays for the rest of the season? After seeing this game, it's a done deal. I would have walked down to Matt Nagy and be like, great win and stuff like that. But listen, I just want you to be a coach that motivates the players to play, gets ready for the players to play, and be the players' coach. Your staff are going to be the guys that run this offensive system. So that's the one thing that's the one thing that I would have told Matt Nagy to his face. Do not, if I ever find out you're calling plays again, you're automatically fired. And guess what? Well, we as Bear fans will easily can tell if Matt Nagy's calling plays. From the standpoint, if we see typical BS Matt Nagy play calling where we see hitches and stuff like that, well, then guess what? We'll find out that guess what? You know, he's play calling. The one thing I will say I like about Matt Nagy is it seemed like he was damn near invested in the field and on damn near invested on what was going on during the game, because guess what? He's not looking down at his play sheet so invested into the damn Denny's menu to where he's wondering what's the next play I should call. 2-6 flex 90. No, he's actually paying attention to the game and actually being a good player's coach. I think Matt Nagy would be a pretty good player's coach. The X's and O's? Hell no. He can leave. Anyways, that's one thing. That's the one thing. Defensively, honestly, I'm going to just say this. Listen, the Lions had a good enough shot to win this damn game. Hell, a good enough shot to come back and potentially beat the Bears. And going back to one of the Justin Fields things, him holding onto the ball too long created a fumble. Luckily, Justin Fields somehow got the fumble back. That's the one thing he's also had to clean up himself. Hold on to that football. Anyways, as I was saying, the defense. Or actually, before I get to the defense, let me talk about the offensive line. I thought the offensive line was all right for what it was. They played a much better game against the Lions than against the Browns, but let's be honest, it's the Lions defensive line. They have no premier pass rusher. So listen, the offensive line can play better. That's all I'm going to say. The offensive line can play better than it already was playing at. But going to the defensive side of the ball, the defense, oh Lord. The defense is going to be a major problem this season. When I tell you these guys got gashed by the Detroit Lions countless times and almost gave the game up to the Lions, I'm telling you, we couldn't stop the run whatsoever. And Jared Goff was essentially just doing whatever he wanted to do. We got no pressure on him other than 2 sacks, really. I believe we only sacked him 2 times. And then obviously, like I always said, what is the weakest part of the defense? The secondary. They let some no-name receiver who I don't even know. And let me see if I can find his damn name. Because I swear. I'm going to go to the freaking stats. Or the box score. What's this guy's? Khalif Raymond. I have never heard of this guy, in my freaking life, dude. And this guy was utterly killing us. Utterly killing us. There was a point in the game he was literally taking over. Like, look at these numbers. I'm not. I know this. The league is an offensive league, but some of these no-name receivers, man, had too many dang receiving yards. Quintez Cephas. Who is he? All I remember is he played for freaking Wisconsin, and it was Wisconsin. We know they don't throw the ball. He had 4 receptions for 83 yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 6 receptions for 70 yards. Okay, I can understand that because Amon-Ra St. Brown, I'm a UCLA Bruins fan. I think, honestly, Amon-Ra St. Brown's a pretty talented receiver, and I think he's actually pretty solid. Khalif Raymond, 46 yards. Shouldn't happen. TJ Hawkinson, they only held him to 4 receptions, 42 yards, so I guess that's a win. And then mostly the other stuff were just them checking down the ball to their running backs. But it's like, you look at the defense. The defense was gifted 3 times easy turnaround gifts from the Lions. And so the first one, the snap of the Detroit Lions stupidly snapped the ball when Jared Goff wasn't expecting it, which bounced off Jared Goff's knee and into I think Bilal Nichols' arms, and he caught it. Turnover right there. Okay, that's one drive. The next drive, the Lions failed to convert on 4th down off a tip pass, thanks to Alec Ogletree, which if that pass was not tipped, that is a touchdown, and that changes the game most definitely because it's 14-7. And then, there was a fumble, a strip fumble, and that's the 3rd time the Lions were in the Bears' territory and they failed to convert. They finally got a touchdown eventually and continued to score touchdowns, which the second one was just travesty because it was just a wide open, just seam right down up the middle of the field. What the hell are we doing? So that happened and everything. So moving on to the whole standpoint of this defense, let's look at it. If the Lions just kick a field goal or score a touchdown on one of those drives, the game's probably different. That's what I'm saying. Yes. Did the Bears come with the turnovers and gets the stuff in their own end zone early in the game when they needed to? Yes. But the problem is how easy the Lions were getting into Bears territory. They were gashing the Bears through in and throughout this game. Like, literally, as a Bears fan, can you be impressed with the Bears defense from the standpoint they got gashed by the Detroit Lions and they almost let the Lions come back on them? And when, it was essentially 21-0, 24-0, or 24-7, and stuff like that, the Bears defense, for some reason, just let up and they're playing the soft zone. Again, people say, well, Sean Desai, he had an admirable performance against the Cleveland Browns. Yeah, I'll give the Bears defense that. But at the end of the day, the Bears defense gave up 20-plus points. Here, did they do a better – they didn't really do, in my opinion, they didn't do a really good job. They got carved up. And if I were to grade them, I'd probably give them a C. Because you guys got gashed up the middle countless times and almost let the Lions come back on you. Like, seriously, if the Bears defense is going to get gashed up like this against the Lions, Lord have mercy for the next schedule. Because you play the Raiders, then the Packers, then the Buccaneers, 49ers, and then the Steelers. And we know the secondary is already trash, and they can't stop a damn thing. So that's why we said that the front seven have to get home. Otherwise, we're getting carved up. And it's some of the easiest stuff. Like, the Lions get a penalty, and the next play, they complete 2nd and 20 for a first down. Nobody there. And it's like, dude, what are we doing? So this Bears defense, in all honesty, did not impress me at all. Like, at all. And if you're going to give credit to the defense where credit's due, yeah, maybe you can give them credit for forcing, the strip fumble and the turnovers early in the game. But you can't look at this But at the same time, you can look even on those drives and be like, the Lions are getting into Bears territory way too damn easy. This can't happen again. This can't. Like, get stops in the middle of the field. Like, literally. Make an opposing team have to punt the ball away. And sometimes the Bears did it. I think they only did it like 2 or 3 times. And the other times, the Lions were in Bears territory. There was a part in the game where Gus Johnson said, this is the 30th play the Lions have had in Bears territory. And I'm like, 30th play? That means they're just letting them up and down the field no matter what. So it's got to get cleaned up. I'm still not sold on Sean Desai as defensive coordinator for the Bears. He doesn't bring the pressure's not there because guys aren't winning their one-on-one battles. And then 2, he's not forcing enough pressure. And it's like he took his gas off the gas pedal, his foot off the gas pedal for some obscene reason. And guess what? The Lions are killing the Bears in the secondary, having guys run wide open, catching passes. Let me just tell you, Derek Carr is going to pick that apart. You definitely damn know Aaron Rodgers is going to pick you apart because you can't make no mistakes with Aaron Rodgers because Aaron Rodgers will eat you alive. I expect that game to be a damn blowout the way our secondary was getting carved up. Tom Brady's going to carve you up just like that too. He'll exploit you too. I don't know about Jimmy Garoppolo because he's all right. He'll probably just rather check it down. But he could very well pick you apart too. Ben Roethlisberger, now that's debatable because the dude's arm is dead and he's got a noodle arm. That's the one game out of the next 5 games I see on my schedule the Bears could potentially win. The only problem is that game's in Pittsburgh. So yeah, that's the only thing. But solid team win for the Bears. But if I'm to be honest, my overlasting thoughts of this game is if you think the problems for the Bears are done, they're not, because it's the same old with the Bears. They lose to the really bad teams, and they can beat they lose to the really good teams, but they can beat the bad teams just barely. They don't blow the bad teams out. When I mean they beat them barely, they're escaping, and it comes down to potentially a crucial play for a bad team to end up losing to the Bears. It's the same song, same formula, over and over and over again. Look at it. Week 2, they played a bad Bengals squad. They had to essentially escape to defeat the Bengals. Last year in the virus season, the COVID season, second game on the schedule, they barely got by the Giants. This is what I'm talking about. The bad teams, they don't blow them out. They let the bad teams stupidly hang around, and they let the bad teams get back in the game, and lo and behold, the game's closer than you originally thought it should have been. And again, from an organizational standpoint, if you think beating the Lions is going to take you in the right direction, please get me wrong, and you're not really understanding the truth. It's the Detroit Lions. Go out there and go take 2 or 3 games in the next 5 games on the schedule. Beat the Raiders. Go beat a Packers team. Try to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers or the 49ers or the Steelers. Get 2 or 3 of those games. Beat a really good team. Beat a playoff potential beat a playoff contending team. Beat a team that can make the playoffs. Those next 5 teams are teams up to this point we know can potentially make the playoffs. So go out there and beat them. Don't beat the bad teams. And guess what? You're not beating the bad teams convincingly. You're beating the bad teams just barely escaping when it's coming down to the wire. Here in this game, it was the 4th down. If that ball is completed, the Lions get a new set of downs, and they end up probably scoring a touchdown to make this 21-24. And the Bears are probably going to go down the field, at least score a touchdown, maybe just get a field goal to keep their chances alive. So that's the thing. Listen, a solid win for the Bears. Again, as a Bears fan, you'll take it. But hey, the Bears got 2 wins. So when you look over the schedule, I expect the Bears to lose continuously the next few games and then end up seeing the Lions again on Thanksgiving Day, beat the Lions in Detroit, and potentially losing out the rest of their season. and the whole thing of 3-14 will be my thing now. Again, maybe with Justin Fields, it definitely can change and stuff like that. But we'll definitely see where this team goes. I hope this team proves me wrong with the record. But personally, I want the record to be so piss poor bad, we get Matt Nagy out of here. Like, how bad are you gonna be for your own offensive coordinator to try to save your ass? Anyways, I'm Miguel Iver. Hopefully, you guys have a great rest of your day. Or now we're on this video. Leave a like if you like this Bears recap, as well as hit the subscribe button to get more Chicago Bears content, as well as college football content with my same co-host, Matt Swarmstead, as we review college football. So look forward to that and stuff like that. I'll see if I can do a game recap next week against the Raiders. I probably will, because I'm actually getting my wisdom teeth pulled. I probably just won't be trying to talk as much or trying to scream as much, because my jaw will be freaking killing me. But other than that, that's kind of it. So again, put in the comment section your thoughts on Justin Fields' performance and your thoughts on the Bears. Was this a convincing win for whether the Bears can turn it around? Or are you still having the same issues like you did before the game? Other than that, I'm gonna get out for guys. Have a great rest of your day and bear down. See you guys later. Peace.